This conference will now be recorded.
Good morning, friends. Welcome to GoOnlineTrainings.com. We are discussing about user-defined functions, where exactly we may use user-defined functions and where exactly we should use store procedures. You have to know clearly. Okay, so store procs can insert the data, update the data, delete the data, and they can perform any kind of a complex operations, right? But only the disadvantage with the store procedure is it cannot be called as part of select, insert, update, delete. So that's what we discussed. And the need for the function, if you wanted to get some data and do some kind of arithmetical operations, and you don't want to insert the data using a inside a function, or you wanted to update, you don't want to delete any data using a inside a store function. If that is the case, going for uh, the functions are always can be called with the help of insert, update, delete statement. Functions are called as parameterized views, right? So we have three types of functions. One is called scalar, returns a single value. Programming cursors etc are allowed, right? What is a cursor we'll see later. And get date, get balance, all these are the scalar functions, right? So yesterday I think we were discussing about these functions. Yeah. So we have a scalar function where it gets the single value, right? Then the next one is, next one is inline functions. View with the parameter is called as inline functions because a view will have a single query. Even inline function also will have a single query. And view can be called as part of select statement. Function also can be called as part of select statement, but view does not allow input parameter, but the functions, inline functions will allow input parameters. Okay, only select statement is supported, no programming is supported, only one select statement supported, not even next select statement. Multi-statement table valued function used for complex requirements. Programming cursors etc are allowed. What is the cursors? We'll discuss them later. And we also seen difference between a stored proc and function. This is very, very, very important interview question, right? So can I have temp tables in functions? The answer is no. We can use the table variables. We'll see what is the table variable inside the function. Now, I had explained two examples yesterday. So why functions need to be used in this case? Why not store procedures? We clearly, explained in yesterday's example, right? So how to create a function? Create a function name, only input parameter. There is no output parameter inside functions, okay? If you wanted to get the data from a function, you must use returns statement. Clear? Returns whatever the value that you wanted to get it, the data type as begin, write your select statements and T-SQL programming. You can also go in for a cursor. So what is a cursor? We'll discuss them later. And end and go. So how can we call a function? So syntax to call a function, we have different variations. With the help of this, we can call the function. Let me create a single function called scalar function. Let me take this code and tell you how to create a function. Okay. So now I wanted to show you. Let me copy this code and explain. So how to create this function. I wanted to go to use iBank. Always you need to write this statement. Clear? So even though you're pointing, make sure that it is there. So create a function name, function get customer balance. So I wanted to supply the customer ID is an integer and return some money. This is the syntax. As begin, declare a balance. You can give anything. You can declare x. X is also fine. Okay, x, and select at the rate x. What is x? X is going to store the balance, right? From the table, you can just remove this and you can supply some value here. Okay, select C balance from account master table. It is going to get some data. Clear? So whatever be the data it is getting, that is getting it through this input parameter. And you need to give this x. Okay, x is a variable which is going to store your balance. Now what we are saying? We are saying return at the rate x. Okay, return at the rate x. That is what is we are doing. And x is what? X is a money. Why it is money? Because it is storing balance. C balance is money. Clear? So when you say C balance is money, so you just go there and check what is the data type for account master table, go to columns and C balance, which is a money data type, right? So money, you may get sometimes nulls also. Okay. So because we have some null values also here. For example, select star from account master table and if you see, there is a null value in 105. Clear? But as of now, you don't worry about it. Return X. X is having what? X is a money. So you need to say returns money. So the data type is money because of you're returning the money. Tomorrow, if you return a employee name, so you need to give employee name will be a varchar 40. So you need to say return varchar 40. So this is how you have to create a function. Clear? Let me create this. Function is created. Now I wanted to call the function. How a function can be called, we know, right? So function can be called with the help of select star from the function name, right? Or we can say simply select function name. We're supposed to supply an account ID because we'll say select get date. Have you know about it? So I think you know about it, right? Select get date. What is a get date? It is a function, right? So function can be called as part of select since it is giving you a single value. So we can call directly here, but now the function is expecting a parameter, a value. What is the value? I have to supply some value like 101, 102. So we are going to execute this. When you execute it, it is telling me an error is not a recognized function name. But I have given the same function here. I'm getting the error. Clear? But what is the issue? Let me just go there and check where is the function available. Functions are available. Just go to iBank, refresh it, go to programmability. Then you can see store procedures and functions here. So we have table valued and scalar functions. Since it is giving you a single value, this is a scalar function. Just open this, we can see get customer balance. Okay, so you could see a DBO. What is a DBO? Which is a schema name. So that you have to compulsorily give. Okay, if you don't give this DBO, then try to execute it, you will get an error. Clear? So it is compulsorily at the time of calling a function. So what you do, you better drag and drop like this. Okay. And in the bracket, you give 101. So 101 you can give. You can remove these brackets if you want to. Otherwise, you can keep the brackets. So DBO is a schema name that is very, very important that you need to give it. Now it is giving you value. Okay, C balance is this much. So this is what it is giving you. So whenever you get this data, you should be able to capture it. If you wanted to capture it, so that can be captured wherever you wanted to capture, or you wanted to print something, you should be able to print that. Clear? So it is printing the value, but let me give a what is called 105. Okay, if I supply 105 and it may give you a null, right? Null, normally people don't understand. So if you have a null, you need to write is null. Okay. When you have is null, don't return null and you give zero. So this is what you need to alter it. So whenever there is a null, so definitely you need to give special treatment, right? So whenever there is a null, you need to give special treatment because how come it is accepting null? Because when you go to C balance, Now you go to account master table. When you see the columns, it clearly tells you that C money is a null. Clear? So whenever you see a null here, you need to give the special treatment. You need to use is null. What do you mean by is null? If this is having a null, because this is getting the data from here. If this is having null, so you better have it here. Or you can also write. If you don't want to write it here, simply you can write it here. Okay, if it is getting null, C balance is getting null. Instead of a null, you give 0. So the 0 is going to go here. So you can also write it here, or you can also write it here. So wherever you wanted to write, you should be able to write and close, and you should be able to call it. So you are going to get the data. So here as 0, 0. So this is what is your balance, right? So this is what is the customer balance that you can have it here. So if you wanted to supply any other number, you should be able to get the data. So this is the customer's balance. Clear? So here we are getting a single value. Hence, this function is called as a scalar function. Okay, when you go to SQL server, you're able to see this function in this. Okay, you should be able to see this function as part of functions. You are able to see scalar valued functions. Clear? So scalar means which is going to be giving you a single value. Okay, so many ways in which you should be able to call the function. So now I'll show you what are the ways. This is one way already we had seen, right? So DBO is compulsory. So it can work like this. So use the function to delete the data. So what I'm trying to do, I'm getting some data. Okay. So if I give 101 here, 101 will give me some data. So this is the data, right? So this data is going to get accumulated here. Okay. So then I'm doing delete from account master where the C balance equals to this. So this is going to give you the balance because it is a get balance. It will take 109. It will give you some balance. Wherever the balance, when you execute this, the balance will be this much. So wherever the balance is this much, you delete the record. You can also call the function in the where clause. Normally we see that we call the functions, right? Date, diff. Okay, date, diff in where clause. Do you remember? So where are we calling? So functions can be called in the where clause, select clause, wherever you wanted to call, you should be able to call the function. There is no issue at all. Now use function to update the data. So what is the meaning of this? Update account master table. C balance equals to, let us say, some 20,000, where this is. So what do you mean by 104? Let me put 104 here and call. So you will be able to get some data. You get this data, copy this, and you assume, so like this. Now what is happening? Where C balance equals to this much, okay. So you update the data into 20,000. So you can call everywhere. You should be able to call the function in insert, update, delete, wherever you wanted to call, you can call. And using a variables, we can also call the function declare X, and I'm going to be calling this, and I will get some data, right? So for example, when you call it, you will be able to get some data. The data, again, you're declaring a variable called X, or you can declare a variable called balance. Now that can be given here, and that can be given here. You should be able to execute it. Clear? So the balance is this much. Clear? You can use a print statement, declare, print, all this part of T-SQL programming. Clear? So the function can be called insert, update, delete. So wherever you wanted to call, you should be able to call. Tomorrow you wanted to insert some data, so you can also update, right? So you can have insert into account master values. Now you should be able to give the date. The first number is, let us say, 173, and the customer name is some ABC. Then you can have, what are the other columns we have? What are the other columns we have? So name, then address, okay, then BBB, comma, branch ID. You can give some BR1, Then savings bank account. We can give some good names here if you wanted to give. Let us say Manisha. Okay, Manisha. Let us say she's from Hyderabad, some address. Okay, branch BR1. So and product is savings bank. Date of opening is, we can give you get date. This is a function, right? So function can be used as part of select, update, delete. Wherever you wanted to have, you can have it. Then after get date, C balance. Okay, I wanted to have the C balance, so I would like to give a C balance of this customer, right? So whatever be the value of 101, so 101 will get some C balance that I wanted to insert here. And let us see whether it is going to work or not. And the status is operational. Okay, let me execute this. So I wanted to execute this. Now I wanted to call. So Manisha Hyderabad and get date. And she is going to get the balance of 101. What is 101 balance? Let us see. The 101's balance is this much. The same balance will be inserted there for Manisha. Okay, let me simply execute this statement. Now see, one row is affected. Have you seen this? So I should be able to call one predefined function here, one user defined function here as part of what? As part of insert. Now I wanted to read select star from the table name is called account master table, right? So when you see, when you call, you can see 173. Have you seen this? So whatever be the balance of this 101, the same balance is inserted. So we had given 0. You can also give same, thing. You can also copy paste it here. So you can get the same balance here and operational. Have you seen this data? So the functions can be called as part of update, delete, wherever you wanted to call, you should be able to call the function. That is the beauty. This function is called as a scalar function. It is going to give you only single value. Clear? It's not going to give you any multiple values. It's going to give you a single value. So this is what is called scalar functions. Okay. If you wanted to get, if you wanted to get the function body, or will say schema of the function. Schema of the function means you can say sp underscore help text, then inside single quotes, you should be able to provide a function name, right? The function name is get balance. So you should be able to give. So let me execute. So this is what is our function. You should be able to copy. If you wanted to modify, you should be able to modify this. Clear? So you need to say alter and modify it. Right. If you wanted to get all stored procs, how can we get it? Select star from the sys dot procedures. So you need to execute this table. This is a system, system table. You should be able to get all stored procedures. So these are the stored procs that we have as part of our database. Clear? So if you wanted to get all the views, okay, all the views, if you wanted to see in a given database, sys dot views, sys dot views. So you should be able to execute this all views which you have created. Okay, all store procedures we can get it. But if I wanted to get all the functions, okay, in a given database, we're pointing to ibank database, I wanted to get all my user defined functions, sys dot functions. Okay, sys dot functions. So when I execute, this will tell me invalid object name. Clear? So there is no table called sys dot functions, which is not there. Clear? So which is not going to work. at all. So many people will ask you this question. So I wanted to get all function names. So I wanted to get all trigger names. So triggers also we did not discuss, but all triggers, if you wanted to get it, so select star from the sister daughter triggers. So whatever be the trigger that is there, you should be able to get it. So all the triggers available. Okay, we have only one trigger. So triggers can be seen on the table. When you open the table, when you go to account master, so you can see columns, keys, constraints, and triggers. You can find the triggers here itself. Clear? If you go to transaction master table, if you wanted to see the triggers, columns, keys, constraint, triggers, indexes, so you should be able to find out what is the trigger. You don't have any triggers. Clear? But it's telling you one trigger. So somewhere on the product on deletion, somewhere triggers are available. Clear? So just open one by one, you should be able to see the trigger somewhere. Clear? So we have only one trigger, so trigger can be seen on the table itself. Clear? But I wanted to get the function. This is not going to work. So what is a trigger? A trigger is an object. What is a function? Function is an object. View is an object. Procedure is an object. Object means which you can see. Table you can see. View you can see. When you open programmability function, you can see everything is an object. Clear? If you wanted to get if you wanted to get all functions, this is not going to work. So we have a super table called objects table, okay, which is a super table which is going to be storing each and everything. This is dot objects. So select star from the sys dot objects. So where you should be able to find out each and everything. So what is an object? Even stored proc is an object, function is an object, type is an whatever you can see that is an object, tables, views, everything you should be able to find out here. So everything you can see. So what is the type? It is a system table. S means a system table. When you come down, view. If you wanted to get a view, you need to go here. You can say where type is equals to, okay, type equivalent to view. Okay, when you say view, it is a view. All the views you can get like this as well. Clear? So if you wanted to get all the views, one query, you can write this query. If not, you can also write this query. Sys objects where type equals to v. So both of them will give you same data. Okay, both of them will give you same data. Now you compare. You're able to get 19 rows here and you're able to get 19 rows here. Have you seen this? So if you wanted to get stored procs, now let me go there and let me execute only this stored procs. Now let me come down. Stored proc means the type will be, see, you can also get all primary keys. Okay. PK means primary keys. All primary keys I wanted to get from the entire database. It will tell you what is the table name and what is the primary key, what is the foreign key, what is the view, what is the user table. So each and everything you can get it. So SQL stored procedure P. If you wanted to get all the stored procedure, you need to say P type equals to P. Peak means equals stored procedures. Just simply go there. So if you wanted to get all stored procedures, you need to simply put type equals to P, right? So you can get like this. So you should be able to get 19 rows. So we're able to see we should be able to get 19 rows. MS clear? Like that. Okay. Now let me go to sys.object, which is a super table that is going to be having each and everything. So, you can get all constraints, primary keys, foreign keys. If you wanted to get all primary keys, all foreign keys, now we need to say where type equals to. If you need all foreign keys from the table, okay, all of case, I would like to get it. All primary keys I would like to get it. So go here where type equals to fk. So like that, you can do lot of things here and there. Okay. So we are not able to get anything. Why? We have many foreign keys, right? So let me execute. Is there anything else? F, not FK. It is F. Okay. It is F. Foreign key means what? It is F. So you can just execute this. All the foreign keys you can get it. These are the foreign keys. Okay. This foreign key is available branch master table, account master table, transaction master table, three foreign keys. Have you seen this? So this is the you know foreign key object ID. And which is the parent? So in which table you have this? In which table you have this? This is the parent object ID means. So if you go to sys.tables, you should be able to find out these object IDs. Table names you can get it. Clear? So the every foreign key will have an object ID. You have a social security number or Aadhaar card number, right? Even your dog has a social security number, right? Your house has a number, your street has a number, right? Your table has a object ID, your primary key also will have an object ID. Your primary key will also have an object ID. Each and everything will have an ID. Remember, you have an ID, your house have an ID, and your car will have an ID. Your petrol bunk will have an ID. Your will road number will have an ID, street number, road number, house number, country number. In this world, everything will have an ID, right? So in the tables also you have it, every column will have an ID. Every primary key will have an ID. Every foreign key will have an ID. Every check constant will have an ID. Remember, so these are the object IDs. Clear? So you can, by using this ID, so you can get this. You can get this with the help of this. Clear? So you have an ID, I have an ID, right? I have a lot of IDs. I have a PAN card number, Aadhaar card number in India. In America, you have social security number, passport number, lot of other numbers will have. Clear? So now the question, if I wanted to get all functions, what should I do? It is not going to work. Now you got the clue. You need to go to the super table and just come down, and function means fn. Okay, function means what? Fn. That is what you need to give. F means what? Foreign key. Fn means functions. So this is not going to work. So we have to simply use this, where type equals to functions. All the functions you should be able to get it, but not with the help of sys dot functions will not work. Only for functions you need to use this statement only. Clear? So you cannot use sys dot functions will not work. So you need to use sys dot objects. What is an object? Which is a table. What are these? These are all views. All these are views actually. Clear? So this is a view. So this is actually a table. So on this table, these are the views, right? So we have an account master table. I can create a view. So if I wanted to get a branch BR1 data, select star from account master table where branch ID equals to BR1. So you will get BR1 data, right? So BR2 data. You can create a views. Actually, sys.triggers is a view. This view is going to be having sys.objects where type equals to trigger. Type is, so when you put a T, you will be able to get triggers. Actually, these are views. These are views. This is the original table. Okay, sys dot view, sys dot table, sys dot triggers, all these are actually a system views, not system tables. Clear? So that's what you need to understand. So this is the in a table that we can always use, get the data whatever you wanted to have. Just see these two, and you use this column to get the filter. Clear? So lot of things are available. So tomorrow, if you wanted to get all foreign keys, you need to use PK, right? So whatever check constant, if you wanted to get it, see all check constraints from all the tables can be seen. People would ask you, write a query to get all the check constraints from all the tables. What is the query you're going to be writing? You can say sys objects where type equals to C, right? So this is how you should be able to use and get lot of things from this sys.objects. If you wanted to get the all functions, you need to use this query. Remember to use this. Am I clear? Now, let me take you to one more. So these are the things we had explained already. Always you must use a schema name. If you don't write any schema, by default, you will be able to see a schema called DBO. And as part of the where clause, as part of the variable select clause, wherever you wanted to call, you should be able to call it. Now, these are all we had seen. Inline functions means these are parameterized view. View will have a single query. Now see, there is a single query here, right? And the view is getting, uh, view does not have any programming. Even this fellow does not have any programming, but extra thing, create a function, get branch customers. So you need to supply the branch here, and which is going to return a table to you, right? So this is the syntax as it is, you need to follow, which is going to give the table. So you need to write a table. So what is a table? Table is also one more data type. So integer is a data type, right? So table is also data type. So if I say, I told you this all already to you, right? So I told you always this to you. So if I write declare at the rate x integer, what is the meaning of x? X is a variable. Many people will say x is an integer. If x is an integer, then what is an integer? So x is not an integer. X is a variable which is capable of storing an integer. So this is an integer data type. Clear? So this is a variable. This is the data type. Now we also discussed about a variable which can store a table. Do you remember? Table variable. That's what I told you. Table variable. So I told you this already. Declare at the rate x is a table. What is integer here? Integer is a data type. What is a table? Table is also data type. Data type means type of the data which can store. So table means, now what is x? X is a variable which is capable of storing a set of rows and columns. Or you can say x is a variable which is going to be storing a table. So when you create a table, you need to have what is called as a table structure. You can have employee ID, integer, primary key, whatever you wanted to give, you can give. Okay. You can have a name, a varchar. So we discussed about this. Do you remember? So this is what is called a table variable. Okay. It is integer variable or normal variable. This is a normal variable where the variables are declared. Already we know this variable is declared in your RAM. Already we know about it. Okay, when you execute, the variable called x is going to be declared in the RAM. But table variable means it's supposed to go to RAM only. But table variable will not be there in the RAM. That's what I told you, which is going to be allocated in your tempdb database. So all these things you should know clearly. Already explained. This is compulsory in interview question. That's what I told you. So this is a called x. Okay, what is x? X is a variable, and which is going to be storing two columns, and it is going to be storing a data. Okay, what is the first column? Employee ID. Second column is name. So this is what is going to be stored. Okay, so x is going to be storing lot of data. Where? So lot of rows it can store in this. Clear? And you can insert the data. How to insert the data? Already we had seen insert into at the rate x values. This is the command you should give. One comma, let us say AAA. So AAA will get inserted. Clear? If you wanted to read the data or you wanted to have one more row, you can have two BBB. All the data will come here, right? So you can now also primary key, foreign key. If you wanted to define that, you can have it here. I did not define a primary key. Now I say, how do you read the data? So from the table variable, a select star from at the rate x. Clear? So here you will be able to get 1 and 2 will get allocated. 1 A, B, BBB. Okay. As soon as the execution is over, this execution is over, immediately this will be removed. As soon as the execution is over, immediately this will be removed. So this is what I told you. So table variables are temporary objects which are going to be allocated not in the RAM, in the tempdb database. And as soon as execution is over, the temp table will be the table variable is going to be removed. What is a table variable? A variable which is going to be storing a table means we need to store the data. You need to execute everything at a time. You cannot say let me execute this first, let me execute this later, let me execute this later. It is not going to work because you need to execute at a time, right? So we can also create a hash temporary tables. Have you know about it? Yes, we discussed. So temporary tables also can be created here. So for example, hash emp I create. So where the temporary tables will get created in tempdb database. That's what I told you. But the problem, the good thing is that so execution is over means this will get removed. But even though you create a table, you execute a create statement of a table. So this is created. Then you insert the data, delete the data till you close the connection. There's a cross mark, right? Till you close the connection, the temporary table will be there in the tempdb database. That means scope is less and scope is more. What is the scope here? Scope, execution scope. So as soon as the execution is done, this will be deleted, but this will be there even though executed, and still the connection is available. Till the connection ends, it is going to be occupying, so the scope is more, so more time it is going to be having in the tempdb database. But if you close the connection, so this also go. Both of them are in temporary nature, but which is going to be just there during this execution of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 lines. Okay, so during the execution of these 7 lines, this will be there. That's it. Once the execution is over, this is not going to be occupying any space. But now we have created in a window, the window we did not close it, right? So it is going to be occupying more and more time. Clear? People may ask you, when should I go in for a table variable, when should I go in for a temp DB? What is the similarity? Similarity is both of them are temporary purpose. Okay, both of them are temporary purpose, but only small data, and only one time I would like to use it, because as soon as the execution is over, you cannot again say select star from X. It is not going to be there. So only one time usage purpose means small data, one time use. You can go in for a table variable. You can have large data multiple times. You would like to perform operations on that. For example, I stored some data and I would like to do some processing here. Okay, for example, I would like to know who's having highest balance. That is a processing. Then again, I will go who's going to be having the second highest balance. Then second processing. I wanted to know who's having the third highest balance. One more processing. So multiple times I'm using this data and processing. Who's having first highest balance? Who's having second highest balance? Who's having third highest balance? What is the total amount? And which branch has more customers? Lot of things I wanted to find out using this temporary result set. If that is the case, go in for a temp db. Clear? So only one time I would like to just store it and give you the data, then go in for a table variable. So the similarity is both of them are available in tempdb database. That is similarity. The second similarity is both of them are in temporary, but the difference is one time small data table variable, large data multiple time usage, temp tables. Clear? So these are the things that you should know. What is a table? Table is a data type. Clear? So X is a variable which is capable of storing an integer. X is a variable which is capable of storing a table. So that's what you need to understand. This is how you need to no. Clear? You need to execute at a time. So if you wanted to put the data, how can we put the data? X equals to 10. Then we need to print X is equals to X. That's it. So when you take this query and this query, when try to execute, So you should be able to execute. So you cannot execute like this, right? So it is not going to work if you execute line by line. You need to execute at one shot. Then you will be able to see this thing. So you cannot execute. I wanted to execute like this. Okay. So declare X. Now let me declare X here. Done. And I cannot say, let me execute this. It is not going to work at all. So you need to execute everything at one shot. Okay. Execution is over. It is printed that, it would have created inside your TempDB database and it is deleted also. But now you cannot execute one by one, right? So, but if this is the same thing, I would like to create a temp table. So how the temp table can be created? Create a table hash employee, which is a temp table. Same columns I can have it, nothing else. Same columns I can have it. So what is the beauty? So I can create like this first. Now I would like to store the data in temporary table. So I can insert separately. It is hash emp. All these things, simple things. But guys, you should know clearly. Hmm? Many a times, as soon as you go to the interview, they'll be asking. Now you can execute like this. So you can control C and control V. You should be able to execute like this. So this is available in TempDB database. You can call like this one by one, but you cannot call like that. You cannot say, let me call like this. Let me call like this means it is not going to work. Have you seen this? Must declare the variable. It is a table variable, right? So variables are always available during the execution. Okay. So that's what we discussed. Now let me go back to my PPT. What is a table? Table is a data type. Okay. So now inline functions means a inline function may give you single value. Inline function may give you multiple rows. If it is giving you single value, you can say returns integer, returns some money. We have written, right? So this is how returns money, returns. But if it is giving you a table, you need to say returns a table. That's what. Okay. So inline function, no programming, only one query, but you can have one parameter. It may give you single value, it may give you multiple values. Clear? So you can have like this. So only one query, you will be able to get some data. So this is how you should be able to create an inline function. Right? Only one query, not even one more query. It is a view parameterized, views. Inline functions are called as parameterized views. View will have only one query, and inline function also will have only one query. Only one query. Remember this, right? No, not even extra query. This may give you single value, this may give you multiple values. If it is giving you C balance, then you need to say returns money. If it is giving you, if you wanted to get account ID of a given something, you may get, or if you wanted to get sum of C balance, so you can have to say money. If you wanted to get something else, you give the data type here. So how can we call? Since it's giving you a table, because I said a table, right? I said a table. So I need to call this in the from clause. Need to call the function in the from clause as it returns the table. So select star from DBO function name, and I would like to get the BR2 data. Clear? If you give BR1 data, you can also put BR1 data, right? So function also can be called in a from clause. Remember this. Clear? View can also be called in from clause. Function also can be called, because end of the day, which is giving you data from the table. See, whether it is a function or a stored procedure or a view, it is giving you a data. It is working on a data only, right? So which is working on a data, the data is coming from the table. So function means it is not doing anything else, which is also goes to the table, do something, get some data, right? So inside this body, we'll have a lot of queries only. So you can easily call the function from the from class. Okay. So views also can be called, but store procedures cannot be called as part of select, insert, update, delete, from, where, no, nothing. Clear? So when it is used like this, then people may ask you, can I have a function? Because function is going to give you some data, right? So this function, I wanted to join this function with a table. Can I do like that? Because end of the day, function is getting you some data, right? Let me execute this. Let me take this. All these are the interview questions people may ask you. Let me close this. Let me close this. I wanted to create a function which is an inline function. How can you say inline function? A single query. Okay. So let me execute this. There is an already a function. Let me drop that. Okay. I have same function name is created already. I think for the previous batch guys I would have created. So this is a function I have created. No programming is allowed. Only so one query. So how can we call this? Select star from the function name, which will accept in a parameter. So let me say dbo dot. What is the parameter? You need to supply the branch. What which branch data you wanted to have it. BR1 data I wanted to have it. You should be able to execute BR1 data. So this is returning a table. Now I will be able to say as this is a table A join. So I'm able to get some data, right? So you can so call the function and can I join the function and tables or functions and views? Why not? You should be able to join it because when you execute, you got some table only. So this is a table. So I wanted to join with the transaction master table. So as B. So this is a function which is giving you some data, join B. Now you need to have a common column. What is a common column? A dot account ID. So this A is having account ID and is equivalent to B is also having an account ID. Now I should be able to call, but you can get only BR1 data. Okay. So now you're able to get BR1 data and it is going to be joining with the transaction master table. So this much of a data you got it, but ensure you're able to get only BR1 data from here because it is taking BR1, right? It is still going to take BR1 and it is going to be giving you the data like this. Am I clear? So can I join the function and the tables? Yes. Can I join a views and the tables? Why not? Can I join a views and views, tables and the tables, views and functions? Yes, you can join like this. Clear? So which is giving you BR2 data. So if you want to get BR2 data, you execute this. It will get you BR2 data. So then this data with this data based on these numbers, it is going to be executing. So these are the rules. Okay. So only we have a few customers, but these many transactions, each and every customer has done it. Clear? So total 140. Actually, we have the only these people four, but these guys have done approximately 140. Clear? So like that, whatever you wanted to do it, you can have it. So these are the BR9 guys. But have they done any transactions? Only four transactions, these customers. Who are the customers? These are the customers. Clear? We have customer number 144, 149, 154. Like that, you should be able to get the data like this. Am I clear? So all these things are very, very important. Then you should know clearly. Okay, guys. Now, table valued function. So inside the table valued function, so what we can do, we are going to write a complex programming can be written here. And after that, you have to return, and this is where we are going to be using a table variable. Have you seen this? It is called a table valued functions. So table valued functions may give you a single value or multiple values, but inside this you can have complete programming. A complex programming can be written. Create a function, get customers account ID. So I did not have the complex programming here, but you can have a complex programming. So you can do if and else cursors, lot of things can be implemented. Then you are going to get the data. So whatever be the account ID that you are giving, so that account ID complete data you are getting. So this data you're inserting into a table variable. Now it is at the rate X. You can think like this. returns at the rate X table, account ID, name, balance. In the table valued function, we create a table variable, right? And you get the data, you're inserting this data into this. People may ask you one thing, okay? What is the people will ask you? I have a table 1 and I have table 2, okay? And how do you, the question is like this, how do you insert data from one table to another? Okay, I have some data in table T2 and the table T2 data has to go to table T1. So table T1 is blank, table T2 has some data. So they'll say, how do you insert data from one table to another? Okay, so this may be you don't have any data here or you may be having data here. Okay, so there is a data here and there is no data in the table. So both of them are having same schema. Schema means columns are everything as it is. So I need to take this data and dump it to here. So what is the, how do you insert? So what is the syntax to do that? The syntax is select star from the source table and insert has to come up, insert into destination table. That's it. So this is what is the table. Now, when you follow this, now how do you write? So what is the source? Source, this is the data, it has data. So you need to put the table name here. Now, what is the destination table where you don't have data? So this has to come here. Okay. So you should not write values and everything. It is not going to work. Okay. So this is the syntax that you need to use. And how do you insert data from one table to another? Means insert into table, the destination table, select star from the source table. So source is this, destination is table. Now the same syntax I have used. If you see carefully, so this is the data I'm getting it and inserting in into this. This will get executed first. Okay, this is going to put all the data into this. What is this? This is a table variable. The table variable will get returned. Okay? This is the syntax only, nothing else. So when you create a table variable and returning the data, so this is what is called as a table valued function. Clear? So you should be able to call like this and call the multi-statement table valued function. You can have programming and you should be able to call like this because it is going to be returning a single a set of rows. You should be able to give the data inside this. Clear? So this is what you should be able to understand and call. Now, can I join tables and views? Yes, select star from this. So can I join tables and functions? Why not? Right? So create a following table, customers table, ID integer, seat number, and I would like to have create a function to generate seat numbers automatically. Use the above function to insert the statement to insert values in a table. So I think I have written already. Let me show you that. You don't copy paste it, but you try to understand the logic. Okay. So this is the function I have written. So now let us see. It is a complicated logic. So create a function, get seat number. So which will not take any parameter, which is a blank, but still you need to write like this. Returns character 3. So I have created seat number string, blah, blah, blah. The complete logic is here. Okay. The complete logic is here. So seat number. So I go here and get the maximum seat number if there is no data in this. So I'm going to be counting the customer's table. If I'm getting a zero, zero means no data is available. I'm returning a string. What is a string? The string is called the first seat is this. Okay. The first value or the first seat number is this. So this is what I am returning. A1. Then if not else, if there is no data, then you give string. What is a string? String is a1. A1 I am returning. Clear? If not else, I am setting maximum number. So maximum seat number I will get it. So I told you, right, get the number and blah 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 I'm doing. If it is less than 11, I'm doing all these things. Else I'm doing all these things. If it is a 12, then you need to increment to b. If it is A and 11, then it will become B1. If it is B and already 11, it will be C1, something like this. It is going to insert the data here. So then I have implemented, if if everything is booked, note sheets are available. Clear? Houseful. Then return string. So this is the complete logic I have implemented. So this you should be able to call. This you should be able to call. Okay. You can create one table, and you should be able to use that function to insert the data into this table: ID, seat number, customer name, and contact number. Create a function to generate the seat numbers automatically. Use the above function and insert statement to insert the values in a table. Clear? So this one you can do that. Okay, so these are the things that we can have. Scalar valued if it returns a scalar data type, table valued if it returns a table data type. Inline function means table valued function defined with only a single select statement. Multi-statement returns a table, type with a column and data types. These are the few things that you should know. Clear, guys? And the functions are very, very good. But 90% of the time, we don't use functions because stored procs are heavily called in the front-end applications. Stored procs are faster, compared to views and functions. So when can we use a function means to get the data and do some kind of a calculations. I have given you one example: employee, basic salary need to be employee salary need to be created. Employee salary can be created with the help of what? Always it is going to be having basic salary, PF amount, tax amount, this amount, that amount, insurance amount. You get a lot of values and do plus minus operations, right? This is what is called calculations. You get the data and do some calculations, means that you can achieve with the help of a functions. Clear? You return some value, and that value can be called either in a store procedure or can be called elsewhere. Clear? If you wanted to get the data and do some calculations, and always go in for a function. If you wanted to update the table itself, you wanted to delete the data from the table itself, you wanted to write a program, and after that again go back and do some kind of a data changes. If that is the case, then go in for what? A stored procedure. A view is simply if you wanted to filter the data and show the data something to the customers. So there you can use views. Views will not have any programming, but functions and okay, functions and store procedures will have a programming. SQL can have, T-SQL can have, and the cursors also can be implemented. So as part of this user defined functions. Clear? So these are the things.